This is a little bit awkward because I know it's been like a year since I last uploaded a video, but one of my more viewed videos, which is how to build your freelance kit on a budget, on the video that I made like March of last year of how to build your freelance kit on a budget, I got a lot of questions underneath that video about like, what about eyeshadows? What about this? What about that? So today I'm here to kind of go over again how to build your freelance kit on a budget, but also go over some things that I didn't talk about in the video, which I don't know why. I guess I was just going over the big main parts of your kit, and so that's why I forgot a lot of things. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. So one of the main questions that I got on that last video was, what about eyeshadow? And listen, I'm not saying that I don't like Morphe. I'm not saying I don't like their eyeshadows, because for a long time I did use their eyeshadows. There's nothing wrong with you buying Morphe eyeshadow palettes. I personally I just like the 25 or the 35 color palette, Morphe 35B at one point, and they're just not good. And if that's how the other 35 palettes are, then I mean, totally not worth the 20-30 bucks that you're spending on them. I would skip out on the big Morphe eyeshadow palettes. They're smaller ones. They're made a little bit better. I've heard the Jaclyn Hill one is really good, and the James Charles one, it's okay, you know. They're all right. But as far as drugstore eyeshadow palettes, I actually have quite a few that I wanted to talk about. These new e.l.f. 18 pan eyeshadow palettes. If you follow Kathleen Lights, she actually talked about the first one a few months ago, which is where I heard of them myself. The one that she mentioned was like the first 18 pan eyeshadow palette that they came out with, but every time I tried to order it, it was out of stock. So I got two other ones. This is the e.l.f. the new Classics 18 pan eyeshadow palette. This eyeshadow palette for me just screams bridal. These eyeshadow palettes are only $14 each. And yeah, you are gonna have to pay for shipping unless you buy like more than like $25 worth of stuff, then you get free shipping. And e.l.f. is always having sales, and I honestly think they're worth it. I've never seen them inside of a drugstore, so I'm gonna assume that they're online only, which I'll show you the close-up here. There are so many pretty shades. The shimmers aren't amazing, but you know, they work, especially if you have someone that wants a nice, soft, natural glam. You know, like I said, this is why I think that this palette is so good for brides, because these are the tones that pretty much all my brides always go for. The other e.l.f. eyeshadow palette, again, it's an 18 pan palette, but this one is colorful. This is called the 18 Hit Wonders palette. As you can see, I've kind of already used it a little bit. There are a lot of really, really beautiful colors here. Now I'm gonna be honest, there are a lot of beautiful colors in the palette, but the yellow, the green, the blue, kind of like the main attraction of the palette, they're just not that great. They aren't the worst eyeshadow palettes, pretty comparable to Morphe 35B. So, you know, I mean, it's only $14 and there's 18 shades, and overall they're pretty nice. Now, for some reason, the shimmers in this palette are a lot nicer than the ones in the other palette. The next eyeshadow palettes I want to talk about are the Milani palettes. There's 3 of them, I believe. There's this one, which is soft and sultry. It's a nice cool tone palette, even though cool tones aren't usually requested from my clients. Okay, but the colors that I love to use for the brows, this one I love to use for my blonde clients, this one for brunettes, and then this one for dark brown or black hair, because I never like to do the black eyebrows. But yeah, the shimmers aren't that great in here either, but the mattes are amazing. These 2 colors right here are really great as well. The other palette I don't have, just because I just don't feel like I need any more warm tone palettes, but I believe it's called Pure Passion, and I think there's one more. But these are $15 each if you get them at Walmart, I believe. You know, prices always vary for drugstore stuff, especially if you get it from Walgreens or CVS, Walmart, Target. You know, the prices always vary, but from Walmart I believe that they're $14, and I think they're pretty great. And they also come with a really nice big dirty disgusting mirror. Anyways, let's move on from that one. The next palette, which again is at the drugstore, it's not necessarily just specifically this palette, but this line of palettes, which are the Maybelline City Mini palettes. This one is the High Rise Sunset palette. This one has all matte shades, which I love this color story. Like, who doesn't? This is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today, along with some other stuff that I'm going to show you in a second. They're just really great palettes, if I'm being honest. But yeah, these are really good. The shades are beautiful. Color payoff is great, and they blend pretty easily. The last two powder eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to talk about are going to be from the brand Colourpop. Now, I know all of y'all have heard about Colourpop before, but their pressed eyeshadow palettes are really, really good. This is the matte palette. The only reason I picked this one up is because I didn't have a lot of palettes that look like this. Even this brown transition shade is pretty unique. Now the last dry eyeshadow I'm going to talk about are, again, Colourpop shadows, but these are the Super Shock shadows. So these are the ones that come in the little single pans. Now this one is in the color Telepathy, and this is in the color Lightning Bug. They're both from Kathleen Light's collaborations. The Super Shock shadows from Colourpop are so pretty, so reflective, glittery, and I think that these work perfectly for people who want to have a sparkly eye look, but that don't necessarily want to wear a glitter or a liquid glitter eyeshadow, because that might feel too heavy for them. For example, like for your clients that are more mature, sometimes the skin on their eyelids tend to kind of crepe up and crease if you put too heavy of a liquid eyeshadow on top. And then the same with glitter. So these have a really glittery effect, and they're lightweight. I mean, they're just a regular pressed eyeshadow, so they're really nice. I mentioned this in my last video that I filmed about building your kit on a budget, but I still stand by this. Do not pay full price for the items in your kit. You're already gonna spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, if you're like me, on building your kit. And so just don't spend money if you don't have to, you know what I mean? And I mentioned this before in my last video. Like I said, go to TJ Maxx, go to Marshall's. They always have brand name makeup for like less than half the price. But you do have to be careful. I mean, I'm just gonna put that PSA in there. You do have to be careful. Make sure the makeup is not opened, make sure it's not tampered with, make sure it's not swatched. You know, if there's an expiration date, try to look for one. But you're gonna find great stuff there. I have found the Anastasia lip palette. I have found glow kits, contour kits, liquid lipsticks, lip glosses from ABH. Not too long ago, a few months ago, I actually found the Anastasia blush trios. I got the one in Peachy Love, Cocktail Party, and Pool Party, and they were like $7.99 each. And just keep in mind, the retail price is like, I don't know, like $25, $30 for a freaking blush trio. Like, ugh. Again, just make sure they're not opened, the packaging isn't messed with, not swatched, because you want to be careful with that, because you got some nasty people out here that don't wash their hands after they take a shit. But anyways, another thing that I recently found at TJ Maxx were these. I got the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows, and okay, listen, these are the three that I found at Marshall's. But each one of these, a single one of these, costs almost $30. That's not affordable at all. But if I'm being honest, there aren't a lot of other liquid eyeshadows that can compare to the Stila ones. They're just beautiful, they don't crumble. I mean, they're really, really nice, super sparkly. I mean, I 1000% prefer using those over a loose glitter. Now, moving on from eyeshadows, I wanted to get into lashes. Again, the lashes, didn't talk about that in my last video. So I'm gonna start off with the lashes that I use the most, that I love to buy the most, which are the Ardell Foam Mink Lashes in the style 812. These are super light, super pretty. They're not shiny, they're not plasticky, they look really natural. And even if you have clients, like some of my clients have really long lashes, so they'll say, no, I don't need any. These, if you're not using them for the length, will make your lashes look more full. They'll kind of fill in the gaps, and they just give a beautiful effect. Sometimes even I like to use them if I'm not, if I'm trying to go for like a natural look. But yeah, this is like the #1 lash that all my clients love to wear. The other style that I like are in the Ardell Foam Mink Lashes in the style 811. These are kind of winged out at the end, as you can see, and they're not as fluffy, but again, they're still nice, especially if you already have them wearing a cat eye. That kind of accentuates it. The last set of lashes that come in like a 4-pack are the Ardell 252 lashes. These are much more dramatic, but they look just as beautiful. The only thing is you have to be careful with these because the band is thicker than the others because it has more lashes. But regardless, they're very beautiful lashes, dramatic, very stunning. Another thing about these, or what I love about buying the lashes like this, is I always get my eyelashes from CVS. If you have a CVS Care Card, I think it's called, you can get extra bucks, which extra bucks are like pretty much money that you can spend in the store to use as a discount to your purchases. They're always buy one get one half off, or buy one get one free. You know, a pack of these lashes costs about $16. That's not what I pay. I can get them for a lot cheaper, especially if I get my coupons together and, you know, get all my cashback rewards together. I can get them pretty cheap, so it's good because, you know, I go through a lot of lashes, and so paying $16 for every pack of lashes, it doesn't always benefit me because it's just a lot of money. If you've been on Instagram within the last week, then you would know that a really popular eye base right now is the P. Louise eye base. And that's just what it's called. The P. Louise eyeshadow base. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this stuff is really good. I really like it. I have one for myself, and I have two for my clients, you know, 2 different shades. They're great. Shipping took forever. It was kind of expensive, but I think it was totally worth it. Now, if you don't have $15 to spend on one eye base, that's understandable because that's expensive. I kind of figured out a way to mimic the formula of that eye base. It's not exactly the same, you know, but it kind of works. So what I like to do, or what I used to do before I bought that eye base, I would get the NYX glitter primer and just any concealer, whatever your favorite concealer is. I would put like a 1-to-1 ratio, mix it on the back of my hand, put some NYX glitter glue, put some concealer, mix it together, and use that as my base. And let me tell you, it's kind of the same thing. Not exactly, but it's kind of the same thing. And it's even more great if you decide to do that because you can use any shade of concealer. You know, you have a shade for everybody. So that's kind of a trick, a tip, if I must. So if you've been wanting to try the P. Louise eyeshadow base but don't want to pay $15 for shipping, then I would totally try this out. Let me know if it works for you. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to talk about for the video today is mascara. Now, I cannot even tell you how many celebrity makeup artists that I follow on Instagram, and I see them using tubes, straight out the tube of mascara on their clients. And it makes me wonder, do they give that mascara to their client? Because if not, and they're just using that for everybody, like, that's kind of gross. But whatever. I always require my clients to bring their own mascara because one, that's just one less item in my kit that I have to replenish and pay for. Not only will I have to buy mascara, but I'll also have to buy these disposable mascara wands, which, I mean, yeah, they're cheap, but that's just extra expenses that you're adding to your kit. So I always have my clients bring their own mascara. It's just more sanitary that way too, because I mean, it's their mascara, so you're not cross-contaminating anything, you know, and it's easier. And a lot of times your clients will forget. So if you're gonna have your clients bring their own mascara, remind them the day before and remind them an hour before. That way they can be sure to bring their mascara. Okay, and that wraps it up for this video. I know this video wasn't as long and maybe not as detailed as my first video that I made about how to build your freelance kit on a budget, but you know, I just went over a few items like lashes, eyeshadow, and all that stuff, you know, just because I missed that in the last video. I hope that this video helped you out in any way, and if it did, and if you have any other recommendations for drugstore eyeshadow palettes or affordable eyeshadow palettes, be sure to leave those in the comments down below. And if you have any other questions, leave those down below as well. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for tuning in, even though I've been absent for like a year, but hey, do you see this face? Do you see me? Right? Like, I don't know if y'all can tell, but like, I've lost like hella weight. Like, I look kind of good. Like, you know, I finally have the confidence to get in front of the camera again. So I don't know when my next video is gonna be. Can't promise anything. This might be my last video, but either way, thank you for continuing to subscribe to my channel for whatever reason. And you guys are great, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Don't hold me accountable.